Investors that I work with, they demand the best returns and they mitigate as much risk as possible.
A lot of younger people should get into real estate. It teaches you so much in terms of, especially rent by the room. How do I manage this? How do I deal with leases? What happens if something comes up?
It's fiscally irresponsible to not house hack. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you can retire.
Welcome to the Big Hitters Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Big Hitters Podcast is all about studying what makes someone successful financially. We have a specific focus on time freedom, energy freedom, and then just as a quick plug, virtual assistant staffing. We help you find basically $5 an hour virtual assistants overseas to get things off your plate, to help you live completely in your wheelhouse. Actually, Mike and Evan are both clients. So I have Mike Csrnko.
That's correct, sir.
Evan Rice. They're both in commercial real estate. So today we're going to talk about all things real estate. And in particular, I want to learn a little bit about what makes some of your investors big hitters too. Like you guys deal with a lot of people with a lot of money. What ties those people together? But go ahead, take a moment, introduce yourselves, talk about your niche or your specialty.
I'll let you start, sir.
Yeah, I'm Evan Rice. I'm an investor and a broker at Atlas Real Estate. We specialize in small multifamily investment properties, so think 2 to 12 unit apartment buildings. And that's our niche because 2 units is like too complicated for Joe Schmo investor, and 12 units is too small for the big institutional players. So we found that that's our niche. That's where we can be successful. And essentially my job is to go find investors who want to buy small apartment buildings, understand what their goals are, what they can buy, what they want to buy. Then we go find deals that match their goals. We find the deal, we underwrite the deal. So we'll say, hey, Andrew, you said you want a sixplex in Kansas City. Here's how that asset's going to perform over 20 years with a high degree of certainty. We want to under-promise, over-deliver, show you the numbers. You say, hey, man, that looks really good. We help you buy it. And then because nobody wants to manage properties, because that's a pain in the ass, we manage it for you. So it's completely passive. You get the cash flow at the end of each month. And that's what we do at Atlas Real Estate. Personally, my wife and I, we own a small portfolio of properties, and then we like to flip about a half dozen of properties per year with partners. So that's what we do. And
you just got back from a nice big hitters trip to Mexico.
Yeah, we went to Tulum with our CEO and some of the top performers at Atlas last week, and that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm jealous. No wonder you have such a nice tan.
Yeah, I got a nice tan on the bald head, man.
Man, that's
all right, Mike, go ahead.
All right, I'm Mike Csrnko. I work with Kentwood Commercial. My specialty is with investment grade real estate. So if it makes money, that's what I do best. I'm technically an advisor and broker. I also invest personally. Been doing this for over 20 years. I've flipped houses, I've done tax liens, anything and everything in between the space of investment real estate. My specialties are working with folks in portfolio optimization. So if you own a couple properties, you're wondering what that's making you, how we can better diversify you, if you're looking to get into different asset classes, redevelopment projects, all of that. That's our wheelhouse. That's what I like doing.
Another note is that Evan and Mike are both members of my Fat Boy Fitness global fatness movement.
That's right,
and
Fat
have been
Boys.
working out with me most mornings at 5:15 or 5:30. But I want to talk about other stuff first. So what you guys work with a lot of guys that have sufficient assets and are looking for a return on their investment. What, if anything, do you see a trend with people that invest in the real estate deals that you guys do, in terms of like how they think or how they operate, what they're looking for? Evan, you were just talking before we started about kind of the looking for like a substantial deal that is going to be like, crazy profitable. Like go back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, the best investors that I work with, they demand the best returns and they mitigate as much risk as possible and they get the best returns. Whereas an average or a beginner investor, like I used to be, you do average deals and you make average returns. So I've learned so much by just being around these really successful investors. And I'll be honest, working with those guys, working with the really successful investors, frankly, is a pain in the ass because they demand excellence. And you got to work harder for them. But along the way, they bring you up with them and you learn so much with them and you learn how to do deals in an excellent way to get the best return. So it's like a night and day difference working with really successful, experienced investors versus beginners or maybe average investors, because average investors get average returns, great investors get the greatest returns.
I agree with that. I think you look at the folks who are good at this business, and then you look at the folks who have longevity and who I would consider extremely successful. And it's their ability to say no. They can look at all the deals and that unless it hits a criteria, unless it's within their specific buy box, they say no.
Yeah.
And your average and beginning investors are so excited, and I get it. We were all there.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see something that maybe pencils, you go after it. Whereas the really successful guys look for a way not to go after it. And then once it goes through that gamut and they say, oh, okay, we've tried to shoot as many holes as we can in this, then they take it and take it further. So that in itself gets rid of all the risk. You're not trying to make a square peg into a round hole ever. You're just waiting for your ideal opportunity.
Is there a trend with these guys as far as like their typical net worth, their income and assets? Is there an industry they tend to come from, or is it kind of all over the board?
Look, I don't know what my guy's net worth is, honestly, but because I work in the small multifamily arena, that's what my guys are buying. And I mean, it's a tried and true investment asset class. You buy it right, you manage it right, and you hold it, and you make a ton of money. So we keep it super simple. Like I said, when I work with these really successful guys, I got to negotiate on an entire nother level because they demand it. And if we don't get the terms that they want, we don't do the deal, just like Mike said. So it's a fascinating process. It might sound like a broken record here, but when I work with those guys, the deals take longer. They're more stressful because there's just more negotiation, more back and forth. But it's amazing to work with them, and I try to be a sponge and just serve them, and it's been a very successful process for those guys, and then for me too.
Have you seen any trends in terms of income, assets, net worth?
Generally speaking, you're looking at folks who have at least $1 million net worth. More often than not, you're talking about a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of my belief in why you even start with an entrepreneur, why you even start a business, is you get in business to buy real estate. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these folks, whether it be their initial shop that they owned, they purchase that, then they try to put a little bit away, either in multifamily or diversification into retail. But it is a great way to reduce your taxable income. And as an entrepreneur or someone with a high earning potential, that's your biggest worry, is how can I continue to just crush what I'm doing but not pay 40, 50% of my taxes and still continually grow my wealth? And real estate is that avenue. Mm-hmm. I'd say another underlying theme is a lot of the folks who are really successful and that I work with, they're very good problem solvers. They know how to digest something that has a couple different issues, and they can pinpoint either how to solve it or how to put the right people in place to solve it.
I know you are I've seen some content you've produced on house hacking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you about it because I'm just curious to hear, what is house hacking? What's the strategy? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, look, so all the best investors I know that I work with, the Ryan Boykins, who's the founder of Atlas Real Estate, and I could go down the list, but all the most successful investors I know, they all started by house hacking. And what house hacking is you buy a single family property or a multifamily property, you live in one half, and you rent out the other half to offset some or all of your mortgage. So our biggest expense in our lives is our housing expense. So if you can reduce that or eliminate that, it changes your life and it accelerates your investment career. And that's how I got started. That's what I'm passionate. One of the things I'm passionate about doing in real estate is helping people get started and then get that snowball rolling. So yeah, we do an event every third Wednesday at our office. At Atlas, we have happy hour, we have food, and then we talk about house hacking. We have an amazing time. So yeah, if you're listening and you want to come do that, check me out.
Yeah, I like that. Any hacks or like unique things that you're seeing in like purchasing properties or way like savvy investors are like acquiring property or making money off properties?
I mean, first and foremost, I did 5 house hacks. That's how I got my start. That's how I believe a lot of younger people should get into real estate. It teaches you so much in terms of, especially rent by the room. How do I manage this? How do I deal with leases? What happens if something comes up? And that, just like numbers in a deal, it's only zeros at the end. So when you start adding more property, if you understand the basics, it makes you able to deal with it, but also hire the right people to help you deal with it. The trends I'm seeing is, if you're not house hacking, it's extraordinarily difficult to get into these higher end markets. And I would consider Denver one of those. I mean, at our single family purchase price right now, it is very hard, and especially with interest rates, to make that work on your own. Mm-hmm. And if you, just like all of us, have our friends, you give them a call. And I was at that point in my life where we just got out of college, so people would be coming out here a lot. And I mean, I would even skinny it down to renting by the week. So when I'd have people come out, I'd be like, yeah, I got a couch you can surf on, $100 this week. And it really is. It's a great way to get in. So I love, that's probably another reason why Evan and I get so along well is, we come from the basic roots. And I think that is something I would instill in everyone is you've got to start somewhere, and this allows you to start there.
I like that.
And I would even take it a step further. I would say, if you're a young professional, and let's say you're making less than $250,000, which most people are, it's fiscally irresponsible to not house hack.
Correct.
Because look, if you want to retire before the age of 70, the biggest portion of your net worth is typically your real estate. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you can retire and then enjoy the later years of your life. So I'm so passionate about it because I'm honest. I think it is fiscally irresponsible to not freaking house hack.
You guys house hacking? Yeah, they are. Okay, great. All right. Well, I guess I'm the only person in this room who's not doing it.
Well, look. When you're a big hitter, big hitters don't have to house hack. When you become a big hitter, you don't have to house hack anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? But some people have to house hack 5 times to become a big hitter.
It's the ability to pay the dues and to know how to stair-step that wealth. And, unfortunately, when you're calculating your net wealth, your primary residence isn't counted. So you need to, how quickly can I start gathering properties? And how can I do that without having to put $200,000 down? Well, you got to start buying primary residences.
That's right.
And as soon as you buy one, it takes you 2 years. That's it. And you can even skinny it down and get into the year game, but for a beginner, I wouldn't suggest skating in the gray areas of real estate. So after that 2-year mark, you go buy another one and boom, your net worth just got hit with an asset. But until you start making those steps, it's going to keep increasing. It's going to get harder, and it's just, it's a fact of life. You have to own real estate too.
Is there any other real estate topic right now that you guys are amped about? A soapbox you like to stand on? A concept you like to pitch to people?
Let me go back to something Mike and I were just talking about. Like you got to be surrounded by the right team, the right broker, the right agent, the right lender, people that you freaking trust, people that do a lot of deals, that know what the heck they're doing. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of so I heard a stat the other day that there's 30,000 real estate agents in the Denver metro area. Think about that. 30,000 real estate agents in the Denver metro area. 50% of which do 0 or 1 deals per year. So the moral of that story, from my perspective, is if you want a house hack, you want to invest in real estate, you need to work with a team that hopefully is an investor hopefully your agent is an investor themselves, hopefully your lender is an investor themselves, so they can understand what you're trying to do, understand the goals, and help you get there. So I think just being surrounded by a really good team that you trust and has your best interests at heart is super, super important. Sorry, I didn't answer your question.
No, it's fine.
Common theme. AI.
Yeah.
It has jumped into, I think specifically our business, so much that the efficiencies it allows you, the productivity increase it allows you.
So let's just jump there, because that's a topic that I wanted to discuss. How are you using it, and 2, how are you seeing it affect your industry?
I use it every day. I got into ChatGPT about 2 years ago, and just I guess my aha moment was when I started calling her my assistant. And at the time, it was newer. There wasn't, at least on my end, there wasn't a whole lot of understanding of really how you can make this an effective part of your daily life. And then I started to dive into it more and learn the nuances. How do you prompt it? How do you engage it? How do you create these custom GPTs so that you can continually do a repetitive task, similar to like an SOP. I'll stop with the jargon, but a standard operating procedure. So it is 1000% in my mind the same thing that happened in real estate when we had the internet. Before we had the internet, you had to go to a broker's office. They had a nice thick binder of everything that was on the market. And that's the only way you could ever see what's on the market. And so when the internet came into advent, it was very eye-opening. Well, what are we going to do? How are we going to, this is going to do away with brokers. And sure enough, it didn't. Everything was fine. But yes, everyone shops for real estate on the internet. And it doesn't matter if you're buying a single-family home or a $25 million multifamily property. You're on the internet and you're looking at it.
Is it being used by like your firm or you guys at all in sourcing deals
100%.
or like automatically eliminating potential
underwriting, CRM management, contact, how you follow up on deals, permitting process is now involved in AI. So when you're coming through and you're looking, okay, so this redevelopment's going to take us 3 years. Where can we find the trigger points that it's going to be, as we say in the construction, it's those oh shit moments. And that, run it through the AI system, it'll pinpoint. These areas are going to be high risk of when that oh shit moment's going to happen. So plan for it that way. So it's, it's like the internet right now.
Besides chat, what are the other tools, like the softwares you're using?
Notebook AI, ChatGPT. I'll pull up my phone. I got my little AI.
What about you?
ChatGPT is the only form of AI that I currently use, so I'm clearly underutilizing AI. I will say, about 2 hours ago, I got a cold call from a guy. He was like, hey man, are you using AI to find off-market properties, distressed properties for your investors? And I was like, no, I'm not, but I'm intrigued. I was like, when can we talk? So we're gonna talk in a couple weeks. But from my perspective, if I have good deal flow, for myself and my partners, my investors, I will never go hungry. I will always do well, because the hardest part about investing in real estate is finding a really good deal. So if we can somehow leverage and utilize AI to find really good off-market deals, I'm good. So I can't wait to talk to this dude in a couple weeks. So I don't know what the software is, but I'm gonna find out.
What are you about to tell us?
Yeah, so some of the other stuff, I use Plot AI for meetings, phone calls, etc. That's straight up a transcript, records it, you punch it in, AI will do a whole summary of it and shoot it out to your client. Yeah. So here's what our meeting was, great. Mile IQ, that detects where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And once you set up your automatic, okay, is it business or personal? Boom, that takes care of my expense account. Yeah. So I'm not having to enter that every day. What else did I say? Notebook AI, I use that a lot. I've been using Perplexity, but I switched over to Grok, because I think the searching there is way better.
What does that do?
So it's another form of a search engine, but it's a powerful form because it also comes with references, where those searches are coming from, the facts that are included in that. So when you're doing, say, a market analysis and you want to see what the growth rates are, okay, well, where is this coming from? Where's the information? That was something that I think was missing a lot when AI first came out, was how do I double check this? How do I know this is as accurate as it is? And that helps you answer one of those questions.
You guys both started using a virtual assistant in the last year, so shameless plug for virtual assistant. Hey,
I love
we
it.
do
It's
virtual
not shameless.
assistant staffing overseas. It's a cheat code, but Mike, you in particular have really taken off with Clea, your assistant. So tell us, like, a big focus of this show is time and energy freedom. So how has that helped you create time freedom, energy freedom, and helped you live in your sweet spot?
So I started down that journey because of our discussion. One of my main goals is how do I get my time back? I had been slightly misled by thinking I just want to make as much money as I can in life. I do. I have a lot of desire to do that, but I also now have more desire to just have my time back because I can't take that with me. And now that I have a family, that drastically changed it. So I've taken the approach of what are my top 3 strengths? What do I do best? And if it doesn't hit those, that goes to my virtual assistant. And it's changed my life. It's forced me to be more crystal clear on what I do daily, how I do those activities. I've created SOPs for dang near everything I do, which that in turn helps you grow. And it is such a valuable asset to have someone in our business with so many things up in the air, making sure nothing's falling through the cracks. And when you are doing a solid book of business and you are part of that 0.001% that does 12 to 20 to 30 deals a year, it's a lot, and you do need that. Yeah. And the work ethic is incredible. It is unmatched. I have yet to see someone with that much effort, willingness, wanting to learn. A lot of our society is very needy and me first, not I want to pay my dues. I know I'm not getting reimbursed for this, but I'm learning something along the way. And I feel like I was part of the last generation that was kind of brought in the business world with that. That's how I got in, and nowadays it's much different. And so with the VA, it's incredible. She's on point no matter what. And if she isn't, she'll ask questions to get on point.
Yeah. By the way, and I was just distracted because I remembered Evan was not wearing a shirt underneath his pullover, but I just wanted to point that out to the 3 or 4 people that are actually listening. So what about you? How are you? Yaneza has been helping you out a lot.
Well, yeah, so first of all, Mike is using his VA, what's her name, Clea, way more efficiently and in different areas than I am. But so Yaneza has been amazing for me. So I actually closed one of the biggest deals of my career 2 or 3 weeks ago because Yaneza called an owner of a 5-unit property in Denver. It was distressed. This dude needed to sell it. A partner of mine and I bought this property, and it obviously we still need to execute on this, but it has the potential to be the biggest deal of my career. All because Yaneza, my VA, cold called this owner and said, hey, are you interested in selling your property? Oh, you are? Okay, you need to talk to Evan. So that right there has the potential to essentially change the trajectory of my financial future. It's mind-blowing. So for me, like Yaneza, basically what she does is I've identified certain properties, certain zip codes with properties in them that have certain criteria that I asked her to call the owners of and see if they're interested in selling. And her whole goal is to set up a meeting for me. And she's done amazing at that. Additionally, she does other stuff for me with listings that I suck at. So, which is a lot. I suck at a lot. So essentially, the stuff that I am not very good at, that doesn't add a ton of value to my business, Yaneza does, and she does it really, really well. So there's nothing that I've asked her to do yet that she hasn't been able to do, and she does it excellently. It's amazing. So she's changed the trajectory of my business.
One little phone call.
One phone call.
Well, you were paying her $1 per set appointment and $50 per closed deal, right?
She's getting little bonuses. Yeah. So she does. I'm not gonna tell her bonus structure, but yeah, she's got a nice little bonus.
I just did.
Cat's already out of the bag.
You got me in trouble with that too because she told the other girls and then they all got jealous. So good job there.
She just earned a bonus, man. So hopefully there'll be more bonuses.
What are some unexpected ways? Because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't need an EA or a VA or whatever. You know, I'm not that busy. What are some unexpected ways they've been helpful?
I have a family. That was it. I didn't realize how much I needed an assistant for the family.
Yeah. You mentioned
travel trips.
Yeah. Okay.
Putting together lists of things for the kids to do, making sure that the kids' dentist appointments are scheduled, making sure that, it's a lot, and it's having the opportunity to stay at home with my kids and be a stay-at-home. I get it. Stay-at-home mom or dad is a brutally hard job.
Yeah.
And you add that to your professional career,
Yeah.
good luck. Like, that's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
even a nanny is great for taking care of them, but she's not going to follow up on everything and making sure that all the little bits and pieces, or,
Yeah.
for my rental properties, she contacts the subs and makes sure they're out there. If
Yeah.
anything goes wrong, they call. So it's several ways. The family was the biggest one I never even thought of.
Yeah.
I would just say, look, if you're a successful professional or an ambitious professional that doesn't have a VA, you should really consider it, because I think it's penny wise and pound foolish to not have one. Because if you think about what you're good at, the 2 to 3, let's call it the 5 things that really drive your business, that will increase revenue generation, and you focus on those, and you delegate the 20 non-revenue generating tasks, how does that change your business? How does it change your life? It has the what's the word I'm looking for? It can drastically change your future. It really can. So it's done it for me, it's done it for Mike, it's done it for you. So I think it's...
Yeah, Allie and I lost count of how many we have now. I think we have 8.
I will say it is only as good as everything is you put into it. But I've even gotten to the point now where, as I see with the various businesses you have, and I'm like, man, I could have a VA for this section of the business, VA for this section.
We have a
of the
VA
business.
just for our Fat Boy Fitness stuff.
Yeah, and it's once you get to that level, you're so far ahead of your peers and everyone else who's not have this that it's good luck to you.
Can you guys give? Oh, go ahead.
One thing, there's a book, I think it's by Gary Keller, who I think founded Keller Williams. It's
Yes,
called
sir.
The One Thing.
Yep.
With Andrew, should probably read.
That's a great book.
Andrew has a tendency to focus on too many things, but it's called. Okay, so you read this. It's
Yeah,
the one thing.
absolutely.
What is? You wake up in the morning. What is the one thing that's going to drive revenue for your business, or what's the one thing that's going to improve your relationship with your significant other? What's the one thing that's going to make your kids happy that day? Focus on one thing, and the other stuff you delegate to your VA. It's a game changer, man. It really is.
Since we're cutting this up, you can even add that to the fact of successful people whittle down their life so that all they do is focus on that one thing.
Yeah.
They go into the office and they make 3 decisions. Those 3 decisions made them $4 million.
Yeah.
That's all they needed to do. And so if you can slowly but surely get that funnel down to focusing on that one item, that's all I do during the day, you're going to be 10 times more successful.
One more completely unrelated question for both of you, because I want to start raising money for Fat Boy Ministries.
Okay.
Tell about your experience being around Fat Boy and how it has helped you not just physically but also spiritually.
Yeah, look, it's been a game changer for me. So it's been super challenging, and it stretched me, because memorizing scripture is something that I have frankly never done. So it has required me to be in the Word daily and spending more time in the Word daily. That, along with working out with you guys most days of the week, praying for each other, confessing sin, being held accountable, faithful, the A is available, but having like people.
What's the T?
teachable. So faithful, available, teachable, fat. But just having men hold me accountable it's changed my spiritual life, obviously in a really, really positive way.
I would say the biggest thing it's offered me is the sense of community, the support. I went astray from my faith for a long time. Lifestyle choices, stuff I was doing, it has allowed me to not only hold myself accountable, but have an environment where I feel supported. I can be vulnerable. I can not be, the strongest one in here, maybe physically, but maybe I could offer something when we pray at the end, and to hold myself to a higher standard. And I've gone from not attending services now to I daily read scripture. I have an app now which reminds me every night at 9:30, now's your prayer time. This is the verse for the day. And to me, it was just really eye-opening. When I finally went back last Sunday and I text you, it's incredible. I just sat there, I was like, I can't believe I've come this far. I went so far to the opposite way, just in the manner of time of working out, discussing after we work out, making sure we're on these text threads, and meeting these new folks I have in this community has changed my life.
That's awesome.
And it is a lot of work. It's very hard. I mean, I'm turning 45 and it's not easy to do, but it also allows me to physically feel what dedication is. And sometimes when we're working out, I do feel like it's a little bit above and beyond. It does. I'm here with all of these guys. We're supporting the same cause. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And, it does. It feels very, very fulfilling.
I love that.
Did.
And you can go to shopfatboyfitness.com and get your merch today. Guys, that's all I have. Is there anything, closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have been such a great, I don't want to say addition, just a great influence on my life so far this year, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining for the Big Hitters Pod. We tried to emphasize time and energy freedom. We have a company called Virtual Assist. Our goal is to help small business owners live in freedom. Time freedom, energy freedom, spiritual freedom, financial freedom. We do that partially with AI implementation. We also do that with virtual assistants overseas. We look forward for you guys to join us in the next episodes.